All right, so today Nintendo dropped a new indie showcase and we got a bunch of new games. JF Raptor mentioning in the chat one of the big ones, Tetris Effect, coming out in October. Now it's Tetris Effect Connected. This is the version that has all of the multiplayer stuff in it. And I also saw that there was an NES themed skin, which was a really nice touch. And this is out in October. Randy, any thoughts on this one?
I was really excited when I saw this, even though I know I've had many different ways to play Tetris Effect Connected, including like I have the PS4 version, which I think is now updated to Connected. So it's not like I need another version, and I'm almost certainly not gonna buy it on the Switch.
Okay.
But it's cool that it's finally available.
I thought that... Oh, go for it.
No, never mind. Go ahead.
I thought at the time... Side note, hi Cairo. I hope you're doing well. I hope you and Zen are doing okay. I thought when this game was being released, I thought it was partially funded by Sony, which is why it was exclusive, but clearly that's not the case. If it came out on Xbox and it's coming out on the Nintendo Switch in October, I will say that the graphics are definitely, they're not going to look as good, but I don't think it should be that big of a hit considering it's Tetris.
Yeah, when I was watching the trailer during the Direct, it did look noticeably blurrier, but then they put up a separate trailer where I watched it and it did look sharper there. So I don't know if just the quality they provided to Nintendo was bad. I don't know. It's almost certainly not going to look as good, but it'll still look very pretty.
Yeah. I will probably buy this and stream it once and then never play it again. If you haven't played Tetris Effect, though, it's a fantastic version of Tetris, and I'm assuming there's more reasons to play it now that it's got multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer in this is it's more competitive than Puyo Tetris and most of the other Tetris Guideline games because it nerfs 4-wide.
Oh,
which is something that people have been asking for forever.
Okay.
And it also has the classic NES versus, so you could play with the classic NES rules.
Oh, sweet. Okay,
yeah.
Sold. I'm in there. Let's go get our half maxes and full maxes.
Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to stream NES Tetris. I do have it. Just hooking up an NES is such a pain in the butt. But if we can just play it on this version of it, sure, I'm down. Some other games, I'm looking at the indie showcase page on Nintendo here. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk looks like an indie version of Jet Set Radio.
I think it might be by the same people. At the very least, the composer is the same guy. Because that sounded very Jet Set Radio. I'm totally gonna mess up his name. I think it's Hideki something.
Okay.
Hideki, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, that music sounded great. It looked a lot like Jet Set Radio. I imagine that this is just kind of a spiritual sequel.
Sure.
I played Jet Set Radio on the phone, and the phone controls were absolutely awful. But I recognize that's not the best way to play it. But I always loved how it looked and how it sounded. I have listened to the soundtrack before. He also did the Sonic Rush soundtrack, which is also very good.
Okay.
So, composer, I am at the very least a fan of the composer and whoever's doing the art direction.
All right. I've never played a Jet Set game before, but I've always been curious about them, and maybe this is the way that I try it out.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't think we're going to go through every single game here. Axiom Verge 2 is out. I know it is a very popular game in the style. It is a Metroidvania. I've heard this is one of the best ones. This screenshot is maybe not the most representative of what the game actually plays like or looks like. Well, I mean, it is like pixelated pixel graphics, but I would assume, based on the caliber and the reviews of the first game, that the second one would be very good as well. One that, oh yes, oh no, no thanks, we don't need feedback right now. A game that really caught my eye was Toeim, which is it's a photography game, but you also have sort of platforming elements. Like imagine you're moving a character through the world of Captain Toad and you also take pictures along the way. I think this one looks incredibly charming and I am excited to play this one.
Photography games seem to be all the rage these days. Because I don't know if you watched the Wholesome Directs for E3.
No.
Like, there's a good, like, 3 or 4 photography games in that Direct. All of which I added to my wish list on Steam.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to play any of them, but, like, photography games are a thing now, which is cool because, like, photo modes in video games have become a thing in the past like generation,
and people love taking photos in real life.
Taking photos, yeah.
Yeah, it's about time. Pokemon Snap, decades ahead of its time.
Yeah.
What other stuff stood out to me? I don't remember what. Oh, Eastward was one of the ones at the end. It looked really cool as a sort of Zelda-esque cyberpunk thing. I don't remember too much about it. I just remember it looked really cool.
It did. Yeah, that's what I got out of it. I just thought it looked really cool.
Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. This one caught me by surprise. Maybe I wasn't paying attention earlier on, but it's a a puzzle game, a puzzle game in the Shovel Knight universe. And I will play it because it says Shovel Knight on it, and it looks kind of like a match 3 puzzle game.
It looks a lot of fun. I mean, I can't discern what the rules are from this trailer, but it just looks like a game that's up my alley.
Yeah. All right, couple more pointing out. Metal Slug Tactics looks very much up my alley. Now, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of Metal Slug growing up. I did play it, but
I liked how it looked.
It looked great. I thought it was like, hey, this is kind of like Contra, but slower. But it always looked cool, and now you're turning Metal Slug into a turn-based strategy game that looks a lot like XCOM. Sold.
Yeah, I liked how that one looked, and I want to see how it plays. Yeah. It reminded me actually of oh no, what's the strategy game that you love?
Valkyria?
No. The roguelike one.
Oh, Into the Breach?
That's what I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it really does look more like XCOM than Into the Breach, but I saw that and I was like, oh, or maybe they're trying for like an Into the Breach style thing.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Anything that rips off Into the Breach, good in my books. Because we just need more stuff like that. A couple other things. I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about Far Changing Tide. There's a kid on a boat, and they mostly just showed the boat. It looks cool.
Yeah, I don't know what it's about, but it looks cool.
Yeah, that one looks cool. A game I'm very curious about. Boyfriend Dungeon. It looked like a sort of a dungeon crawling. Is it a roguelike? Or at the very least, it is a dungeon crawling game that's also mixed with a dating sim where you date the swords that also have human forms.
Yeah. I've been very excited about this game ever since it was announced, and I feel like it's been ages since it's been announced. So I was very surprised to see that like it's finally out today.
Yeah, I'm very curious to try this one out. Only $20 Canadian. Okay. I've got a backlog a mile long, so I'll probably hold out on buying any of this stuff. But at some point, I probably will.
I've got so many other things I want to do, and I've got like Monster Hunter Stories, which I haven't played in weeks because I've been doing other stuff, and I can't really justify buying any of these games, even though there are several out here I want to try now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to do because I know if I buy it, it's just gonna sit there.
Okay. JF Raptor says she's looking to stream more fitness games. Cool.
Do it.
This one This one screamed
Oh.
Randy game to me. Necro Barista Final Pour.
Yeah.
Another visual novel about someone working as a barista. Go for it, Randy.
No, I saw that. And I was just like, oh, it's Coffee Talk, but with well, I was gonna say supernatural elements, but Coffee Talk also does have supernatural elements. So yeah, no, it looks really cool.
I love the visual direction of the game and the way that they overlay the text to make it look like you're looking at a comic book panel. So sick.
I do wonder. I think this game is already out on PC or something. Like this is like an updated re-release.
Mhm.
Does the game have voice acting?
I have no idea. I'm gonna guess no.
Because I think I have the same. I had the same issue with NeoCab that you did, where it just felt weird that the characters weren't voice acted.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that's a problem for NeoCab and not stuff like Coffee Talk, because Coffee Talk is also not voice acted, and so are most visual novels. But NeoCab just felt wrong without the voice acting, and I don't know why.
I think it's
because
go for it.
There's like no beeping noise for their text. Like the text just kind of appears and there's no sound effect for it. Or if it's the fact that it's like a 3D game. I don't know.
I think it's both of those things where you don't have the beeping noise to denote when people are talking. It's presented in a 3D way where pretty much like if you're playing a Coffee Talk where it's a 2D sort of like here's flat pictures over top of a static background and they just kind of rotate, the expectation is they don't talk, and we're used to that. But this is 3D animated and you don't get the beeps and you don't get voice acting and their lips don't even move. So it's very jarring in its presentation. I feel like with what we've seen here, at least it kind of, with the text being overlaid by their face, it kind of looks like a comic panel, which makes me think it won't be as jarring.
Yeah, I really should check out the game because presumably there are videos of it out there. I don't know if I have room in my life right now for another visual novel. I played a bit of NeoCab. I don't know. I'm probably like 4 or 5 hours in.
Okay.
And I don't know if I've quite hit the meat of that story yet.
Fair enough. A couple of other ones. I'm not going to go through every single game here. Actually, I mean, Lumberjack was like, oh, it's a bear, and then you hit stuff. Gang Beast is a port of I think this was on PC first. Wine making, it's a simulator where you make wine. Is there any other ones off this list that you think we need to shout out? Because I think those are the big ones for me. I know Loop Hero is a port of a popular PC game.
A game that I've been excited for, even though I don't really know what it's about, is a Garden Story.
Okay.
Because it looks very cute and it kind of Zelda-y and kind of Stardew-y. And I don't actually know how the game plays, but I dig the art style, and that might be enough to get me to pick it up.
It loosely reminds me of Turnip Boy, like tax evasion, commits tax evasion, or I can't remember the name of that title.
I think you have the two parts. It's like Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
Something like that. Overall, how did you feel about this indie showcase?
There were quite a few games in there. Well, I mean, there's a couple of games in there that I have been waiting for. Boyfriend Dungeon and Garden Stories that I wasn't expecting them to be out today, so that was exciting. Loop Hero I hear a lot about, so like maybe I'll check that out. The Shovel Knight puzzle game and Metal Slug Tactics were very cool.
All right.
Oh, and the Jet Set Radio Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
There you go.
I don't know how that game's gonna play, but it looks really cool. So might pick that up.
Great. I thought it was solid. I think that with the way that these are spread out, you're never gonna get the megaton presentation that just has like non-stop bangers all the time. But I thought that what they showed here was a pretty good collection of stuff.